Reptiles and early mammals have a version of this brain. You inherited it too. And the outer layer, the cortex, the wrinkled gray part you picture when someone says the brain, is the newest, maybe 2 to 3 million years old in its fully modern form. This is the part doing language, logic, planning. This is the part you call you. Here's the problem. These three brains don't always agree. And the older ones almost always win. When you see a spider and your heart rate spikes before you've even consciously registered what you saw, that's the reptile brain. When you fall in love with someone who is completely wrong for you and your logical brain knows it but can't stop it, that's the mammal brain, older and louder. When a piece of music makes you cry and you have no idea why that's something older than language speaking in you, your cortex, the logical language-using you, is the newest employee in a very old company. It gets to write the reports. It gets to explain things after they happen. But the older departments have been running this building for a very long time. They have their own priorities. Somut Lastrella. The fear you feel when you're embarrassed in front of a group, that fear is ancient. Your ancestors who were cast out from the tribe died. Being rejected by the group was literally a death sentence for millions of years. So your nervous system treats social rejection the same way it treats a lion. The same chemicals, the same panic, the same desperate urge to do something. You didn't choose to feel that way. 300 million years of evolution chose it for you and wrapped it in a story, a thought, a belief, a conviction that feels completely, utterly, unmistakably yours. But I can overcome my instincts, you say. I can reason my way past them. Sometimes, yes, but here's the catch. Even your reasoning was shaped by evolution. The very categories your mind uses to think, cause and effect, patterns, predictions, social intention, these are cognitive tools that were selected for survival, not for truth. Your brain is not a truth-finding machine. It is a survival machine that is remarkably good at feeling like it's finding truth. The universe handed you a mind that was already tuned to certain frequencies before you were born, before you were conceived, before your parents were born. But let's say you accept that. Let's say you say, fine, my brain is old and shaped by evolution, but I, here, now, in this moment, take the inputs and make something mine out of them. Let's say you solve the evolutionary problem. Then you face the third wall. Here is an experiment you can try right now. Think of the color between red and orange, the exact midpoint. Do you have a word for it? In English, not really. In Russian, however, there are two completely separate words for light blue Goluboy and dark blue Sini. They are as different to a Russian speaker as red and orange are to you. And here is the important part. Russian speakers can distinguish shades of blue faster and more accurately than English speakers. Not because their eyes are different, because their language gave them a border. The Piraham people of the Amazon have no words for exact numbers. They have words for roughly a few and many, and tests show that they genuinely struggle to track exact quantities in tasks that a child with number words handles easily. The word creates the thought. No word, no thought, or at least a much foggier version of it. You think in language, and you did not invent that language. Every word you used to think was handed to you by parents, by teachers, by television and books and the street you grew up on, by a culture that existed centuries before you that had already decided which things were worth naming, which distinctions mattered, which categories were real. Think of it this way. Your mind is like a kitchen. You believe you are cooking. You're deciding what to make, combining ingredients, creating something original, but you didn't build the kitchen. You didn't choose the tools that were there when you arrived. You didn't decide which ingredients were stocked. Someone else built the kitchen, stocked it, and then handed it to you and said, cook. The philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein put it plainly. The limits of your language, he said, are the limits of your world. You cannot think a thought for which you have no words or concepts. You cannot see a distinction your language doesn't draw. You cannot hold a belief that your culture's vocabulary has no container for. But I sometimes feel things I can't put into words, you might say. Emotions beyond language. insights that come before the words do. Yes. And notice what happens to those insights. You immediately try to translate them into language, into stories, into categories. The wordless moment lasts for a second, and then the architecture of language swoops in and files it somewhere, gives it a name, makes it fit into what you already know. Language is not the tool your thoughts use. Language is the shape your thoughts are allowed to take. But perhaps that's okay, you think. Perhaps the contents of the thoughts, the actual meaning, the actual ideas, still belong to you, even if the form doesn't. Perhaps. But then you face what no one else is saying out loud.